Hey, 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 just getting a quick message today for the collective. Let's see what's going on. Oh, V22, my numbers. Or one of my numbers. Hard to love. Alright. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get a quick message for the collective. What are we going to start out with today? We're going to go ahead and go with the story time. Let's get a fairy tale story today, huh? Let's do a story time. We ain't done a story time. This is straight story time. What is the main type of story time that we can get for this? For the collective today. We've got the Lilies, King of Swords here, right? 111. It's been a big number today. All right, 30. Is a number that we're starting out with today. We'll do the story time and then we'll do a 3D 40-50 for this timeline. All right. That's the lady. 30. The Lilies. Contentment, harmony, and purity. For the Lilies, we featured the tale of the Frog Prince. He will sit on his pad until his true love sees him for something other than a frog. For now, he is content to wait for that moment. He must learn to find harmony and peace and purity in a heartfelt kiss. Lilies is a card that changes the meaning with the cards around us. It brings knowledge and tranquility. It brings knowledge that tranquility is at hand. You can also find older people in this card because it's representative of age and wisdom that comes with it. Let the root of the lily sinking deeply into the water remind you of your own ancestral roots. It can also be a legal card. Remember that the Frog Prince broke the law of the land by being unkind to an old woman who was a witch in disguise. Sensuality can be the energy of this card if you choose. If it is close to one of the persons in the cards, in the deck, one of the person cards in the deck, Lily's card can modify the other cards around it with a gentle touch. I've never seen lilies sticking up like that, though. I always see them just resting right on top of the water. Oh, don't mind me, I'm being bad drinking root beer today. All right. What energies do we got to go along with this Frog Prince tale? Tranquility sitting in the pond. We've got Cancer, the Chariot sign there, right? We got 11, right? And we've got Mercury, communication, the Chariot, communication, being pulled to communicate, to bring in balance. 11. We got a lot of runes that came out right now. I know there's heavy energies with that full blood moon that just happened, man. That was gorgeous last night. I actually got the telescope out and tried to see it, but when I tried to set my phone up on the little holder thingy, clouds came over and we didn't get a picture. What do we got here? Oh, we've got the feminine, the masculine, intuition, the star card, the star rune, right? Guidance, and rings of communication. It's time for some communication for sure. All right, what shadow are we dealing with today? What shadow are we dealing with? We are dealing with, is this me? Is it you? Is this really your story? Is this who you want to be? Has she been dropped to her knees, or is she about to get up? Unfoldment, the lotus flower, right? Very close to that lily, right? I always say lotus cannot bloom in a garden built for a rose. With that card, that's all about the transformation and the needs of a lily. Thich Nhat Hanh does a beautiful explanation of the lily, where he describes how it needs all the muck and the mud and everything else in order for it to grow, and needs so much pressure from so much water and all that, right? What would drown another plant is what the lily thrives in. Right? So are you a swamp flower or are you a lily? People get on me about how much I love my little swamp over here. And they're just like, don't it stink? Doesn't this, that, and the other thing? Isn't it ugly? No, not really, man. I mean, in the spring, it smells like honeysuckles. By late summer, it's covered with Confederate jasmine. I mean, and lilies and irises and mimosa flowers. Oh, I can't wait for the mimosas to bloom. Those are my favorite. Those smell like peaches. Oh, I like to make my own body scrub. And what I'll do is I'll take the mimosas. Where's the cards? They're there. You know what? I want to switch these out. And I'll put them in a pot. And I'll put coconut oil and I'll, warm it up. Not quite to a simmer because you don't want to burn them. But then you fill the pot with the mimosa flowers and you put them in. Then you strain it out. And then you got this beautiful coconut oil with this really lush, peachy mimosa extract in it. My regular scrub is just, it's coffee, honey, lemon, and coconut oil. And then sometimes I'll add like a flower or something like that. The lemon's antibacterial, the honey's antibacterial. The coffee not only is an exfoliant, the caffeine actually tightens your skin and reduces the look of cellulite, right? And then the coconut oil, I know a lot of people talk smack about it, but I swear by it, especially during the summer. It keeps my skin from drying out, and I believe it really helps with keeping me from getting too much of a sunburn. I've tanned better since I've been using that mix than anything else I've ever used. All right. We definitely got Two of Cups soul connection here. On the 3D, this is showing up, right? There's definitely been some third-party connections, but I feel like they've been moved on from. You got her in the canoe, right? Whenever I see that canoe in this deck, I always think of the Six of Swords, that rite of passage, that moving on, right? So it's definitely a Two of Cups connections, a moving on from a Three of Swords connection here, a Nine of Cups, a centering in their own personal power as well. You got the Four of Swords here, right? A recovering energy. And I definitely get you got the Nine of Cups has this feminine energy on it, right? And then you get this Jack of Swords at the end, right? The Jack of Swords, he's curious, he's opinionated, he's a little defensive, he can be quiet at times, like he either says too much or too little, right? He's not the master of communication yet because he's just a Jack. He's not as bad as a Page, like a Page just kind of is more blurty. The Jack, he can even be a little mean sometimes on accident, right? It's kind of balancing out that energy. Think of air signs, but how air signs can speak a little harshly sometimes, right? All right, what do we got on the 4D? We definitely have a lot of trying to plan, preparation and planning, right, going on here. A lot of trying to figure out things, trying to plan things. You get kind of that waiting for a ship to come in energy with the Two of Wands there, right? Trying to maintain some balance. There's got the Sagittarius card here. A lot of trying to balance out that light and that dark energy, home, work, everything else, trying to find a balance within it all in order to bring more harmony, more peace, more centeredness, right? There's definitely a lot of harsh judgments, right? And I feel like these, especially with this deck, this is a lot of harsh self-judgments, like they're beating themselves down, like it could be one, both, or the other, are beating themselves down, making themselves feel unworthy. I like how this is right over that Nine of Cups on the 3D. So the Nine of Cups on the 3D is like, okay, well, that's the 3D. That's how a person is presenting themselves. But really behind the scene, they could be very, very insecure, which could lead to a lot of that defensive energy as well, right? We definitely have a lot of sneaking around, a lot of not speaking whole truths. This is another air sign card, right? Doesn't necessarily, I don't like this one's necessarily saying a liar per se. In this one, what are they called? Rogues? In video games, they're called rogues, or they're called the stealthy person. It could be the thief, right? Who was it? Bilbo was considered the thief, right? That's the kind of energy of this card. They're the sneaky, scouting for information type of energy going on here. And right above that King of Swords here, we got the Queen of Swords, right? Someone who's trying to find that higher perspective, trying to be logical, trying to use their intellect to try to figure out what's going on. I feel like there's a lot of logic trying to be placed onto the 3D right now, which is probably causing a lot of this sneaky-esque energy, and why there's a lot of overthinking on the self-judgment here. It's like, well, you know, yeah. Be mindful that when you're thinking about where you're going and things like that, that you're not putting yourself down too much, because that'll put you onto a negative timeline at all. Stop thinking about what you don't have to offer and start thinking about what you do have to offer. And build on that, right? And that's the whole attitude of gratitude thing that a lot of us talk about, right? The more you're grateful for, the more the universe gives you to be grateful for. What does the 5D have to say about all this? The 5D says be careful, right? This is not all that glitters is gold. Don't drink from every cup offered to you. That's how you get poisoned. Be mindful of illusions. If it seems too good to be true, then it is too good to be true, right? We started out with that Lily story. What? They had to kiss a frog, right? They didn't go right for the golden cup. I don't know why, but I'm getting that Indiana Jones scene, right? What is that Indiana Jones in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Where they go into the chamber to get the Jesus's chalice or whatever, and they're like, it would be the cup of a carpenter, not the cup of a king, right? Not all that glitters is gold, right? I got the 3 of Pentacles here. There's going to be a lot of teamwork that needs to be done, a lot of coming together. Yeah, a lot of teamwork going on. There is a lot of fear over that Judgment card, and I feel like it's a lot of saying that, yeah, you do need to come in and be a team. There is fear, though. There is fear that, what if I do that? What if I get left out in the cold? What if they find out what I'm really like? And then all those negative things you think about yourself comes up. What if they find out what I'm really like, and then they leave me out in the cold again, and I get left out in the cold? This is a recurring fear, right? We've got the Hierophant here. The Hierophant is all about traditions and beliefs. And I'm getting a strong sense with everything else that came up with the chalice and all that of faith, right? Do you really believe in what it is you believe? Do you really genuinely believe that the universe has your back, right? This is not so much, and what traditions do you believe in? What things do you have in common, right, with these people and these connections and stuff like that, right? Don't give up things that your beliefs, for sure. This is really a steadfast in your beliefs as well that I'm feeling, right? Don't give up your beliefs. Yeah, I just get a strong feeling of, do you genuinely trust the universe? Do you genuinely trust do you really believe what you believe? Do you really believe you're guided? Do you believe that your intuition is telling you these things? Do you believe these things, right? If you believe these things, and you've already gone through all this, right? This is the 9 of Wands. This means you've already gone through what? 1, the first wand. What? I passionately see this thing in front of me. 2, how do I figure out how do I get to this thing, right? 3, preparation, intuition, foresight are all pointing in this one direction. 4, I see the doorway. 5, oh my God, the conflict, right? 6, what is 6? I'm losing my mind here. 6, gaining self-confidence and progress through surviving those battles of the 5 of Wands. 7, new conflicts and things like that. Competition, right? Almost, right? Competition and persevering through those competitions towards what goals you are working towards, what connections you're working towards, right? 8, moving physically towards those things. 9 is all about the resilience and persistence and being able to, and realizing the burdens you're going to carry when you get to 10 as well, right? You've already come this far, might as well keep going, is what I'm getting with this 9 of Wands card. Came this far, might as well keep going. You got any more clarifiers for that? Let's get a clarifying card for that. And then I'm going to get a couple out of the deck of many things. Came this far, might as well keep going. Where are we going? Yeah, there's a lot of burdens here. There's a lot of putting down burdens. There's a lot of reorganizing burdens, figuring out, finding balance. This is finding balance. This is learning how to juggle new things. This is definitely the 2 of Diamonds is about, yeah, balance and adaptability, right? Sometimes he's on a tightrope. Sometimes he's juggling like this, but they're always spinning and learning new things, right? And I don't know why, but you know when somebody's playing with nunchucks and they knock themselves a lot with it when they're learning how to do it? That's kind of what this kind of energy is. And it's adapting and learning new skills, right? You're going to have to adapt and to learn new skills, new coping mechanisms, new ways of carrying that 10 of Wands, these burdens, right? 2 of Cups. Again, this is all headed towards a soulmate connection. Anything else? Anything else? No, just too many. Focus is on a High Priestess for sure. This is the person who's got a lot of manifesting energy going on. What is the High Priestess getting into? What is the High Priestess doing? The High Priestess... Whew. The High Priestess is focusing on a Knight of Wands coming into a King of Wands. And noticing that they're in kind of a hangman position right now, right? The hangman's stuck, but he's learning new things, right? The hangman's learning how to go from a Knight of Wands, which is, the Knight and the King of the Wands is that big energy cards, right? That's that personality, right? So that could go from being the player to putting their passions to a more to an actual kingdom, right? The knight goes out traveling and saves many princesses and rescues damsels in distress and all that other Captain Save-A-Ho bullshit, right? And the king maintains a kingdom, right? He maintains a kingdom and his passions stay towards his one queen and what he has his responsibilities to take care of. And that's what this hangman has been put into a position. He's been stuck into this position. He's been locked down into this position to learn what he should really appreciate in life. To learn what they truly need, right? Alrighty. Woo! Just shaking the whole world for you guys, huh? Alrighty. There we go. Let's get a little bit of a final message from the deck of many things. What's the deck got to say? And then we'll do some magic cards and we'll be out of here. The deck of many things have to say. Today. Ooh. I feel like both people in this connection have been played before. Ooh, yeah, here we go. A lot of lessons have been learned. There's definitely someone who has been played before. And these energies, if not one person in this connection, both people in this connection, right? I got a person playing a role will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. The act cannot go on forever, right? There's definitely someone who's come into your life pretending to be someone they're not, right? And over time, their colors, true colors were shown, right? The best curse ever. The best curse ever. May the full horror of your actions be revealed to you. What you have done to others comes back to you. Your best curse ever is may the full horrors of your actions be brought back upon you, right? He'll only leave you better off. Whoever this is that played this role and everything else that left you better off, all right? This is a big message about don't go backwards. They only left you better off, even if it doesn't feel like that right this second. This is about not going backwards at this point. You've been pulled in another direction, right? You don't get to miss what you said you never had. You don't get to miss what you said you never had. I get this is someone who, yeah. Let's see. Alright, so we definitely got that going on. I want some more. Don't get to miss what you said you never had. You said it was never real, right? Don't get to miss what you said you never had. When a child speaks, listen. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm thirsty anyway, so bring on the rain. I feel like whoever is dealing with this already knows a lot of this stuff, right? When a child speaks, listen. I feel like a lot of the roles that were played, a lot of people make this mistake, right? When someone's playing a role, why do I get Parent Trap, right? When people are playing a role, right? The girlfriend, the fiance of the dad's was playing a role, and then eventually they found out she was going to try and send them to, the kids figured out what was going on because adults are stupid and they don't think kids are paying attention, right? It's not about dealing with her when she's happy. It's about being able to deal with her when she is upset, right? Nobody's perfect all the time. There's that judgment again, right? And that goes for both people too, right? It's not about dealing with people when they're happy. Everybody's happy when everybody's happy, right? Life can be peaches and cream when everybody's happy, but it's when somebody's upset and hurting and broken. Can you handle the way they handle stress or when they're overwhelmed by stress? She only sleeps when it's raining. I definitely get a divine feminine that feels very locked in right now. Right? I'll tell you a secret, something they don't teach you in your temple. They envy us. They envy us because we are mortal, because at any moment it could be our last. Everything is more beautiful because we are doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now, and we will never be here again. That's the saying from Troy there, right? And I don't know why, but I'm getting the message of the mother, right? This is going to be my final one I'm going to leave out on this one. It's a message from his mother when he's getting ready to go to war, where he's going to ask her about the war. And she looks at him, she goes, you can go, if you go to this war, but she said, if you don't go, you'll stay, or if you go on this war, you'll be remembered forever, is pretty much what she's saying. Your name will go down in history, and you will be remembered forever as a great warrior of this war. But you, something along the line, but you won't come home type deal, right? And she goes, but if you stay, you will marry, you will find love, you will marry, you will have kids, and your name will continue for several generations. But as time goes on, and as your children have children, and their children have children, your name will slowly be lost to time, right? And she gives him this warning, but at the beginning of the movie, he's so ego-driven that he goes on to the war, right, to fight, and he ends up falling in love with the priestess of Apollo, right? And then that's where this line comes in, right, where he's arguing with her, and she's like, oh, the gods are going to smite you for killing Apollo's priest. And he's like, well, if you believe in the gods so much, what about the god of war? What about this God? What about that God? What about this God that does that thing and the other thing and all these horrible things that the gods do? Let me tell you a secret that they don't tell you in your temple. Can we read it again? I'll tell you a secret, something they don't teach you in your temple. The gods envy us. They envy us because we are mortal. That's what we came here to do, right? Because any moment can be our last. Everything is more beautiful because we are doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now, and we will never be here again. All right. Let's get a magic and a spell card, and then I'm done with this for the day. I might try to come back later. I am not 100% sure. We shall see. We shall see. All right. Let's get a spell card for the day. What do we got here? Sylvan spell. This is a lovely spell if you are given a small tree as a gift. I was just giving lima beans. To wish for strength and good health for you and your love. Before you plant the sapling, tie a bow in some colored ribbon and plant the bow with a small heart symbol in the soil underneath the roots of this tree. After you have planted the tree, water it well and make a wish that both you and your love will grow strong and enduring as the tree takes root and begins to flourish. When the tree bears its first leaf, press it in a book and associate it with the one you love. As long as you tend to your tree with love, you both will enjoy blooming in health and vitality. Isn't that cute for that Two of Cups that kept popping up? I'll hold it still so you can screenshot that. Alrighty. And let's get a magic card. Now remember, if you were going to do this spell, the person that you were doing it with, right, for our love to grow, there has to be someone you actually have a connection with. Do not do that to strangers or someone that you don't have a genuine connection with, please. All right. What do we got? The Philosopher's Stone. Powerful manifestation of wishes and goals by harnessing universal energy. And we also have achievement. Win the award, the accolade, or the contract. Alrighty, that's all I have for y'all today. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. Remember, it is up to you. Have you been brought to your knees? Or did you drop to your knees to pray for a second before you stand up and start swinging that sword, right? Not necessarily swinging the sword, but, you know, calling back onto your power. Did you drop to your knees to call upon your own power, or were you brought to your knees by the universe? Remember, a lotus cannot bloom in a garden built for a rose. If you are not blooming, you are not in the right garden. And remember, we all need different conditions to bloom in. What would drown a rose is what the lotus needs to bloom. It needs that mug, it needs the swamp, it needs the mud, it needs the water, and it needs to, work its way up to that sunlight, right? All right. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. I'll be back as soon as I can, I promise.